In this lesson, I want to do a bit of a case study on some of the recent work that I've done with Midjourney. So let's dive into what we have. Now, what I want to talk about is actually creating the course image or course thumbnail for this actual course that you're watching. So I want to just go through in a little bit of an unedited fashion the entire creation process of the course thumbnail. So what I started off initially doing was experimenting with how Midjourney was going to take a base photo, this is a photo we have of Benza, and putting that in and typing in something like portrait of a Marvel character. And actually, before we really get into this, the idea that we had was for our course image is to have us both in the photo and our faces normally as they are, but the outfit or the costume that we were wearing, rather than it being everyday clothes, it would be like a cool superhero or an astronaut or just something really eye-catching and different. So this is the process that I kind of went through. I was first just experimenting here. So we have our base image, put it in, and I put just a little bit of a prompt, portrait of a Marvel character. These are kind of interesting, it's cool. It definitely changes his face a lot. It's not very useful. I liked the background and the coloring and just the overall tone of this one. Of course, he does not look like this. And also, I was thinking, okay, maybe we Photoshop our faces on top of the character. That'll be something cool. And I just kept going in and reiterating the different outputs, but I wasn't really getting anything I was liking. So I tried a few different things. I tried the word anime. I tried the word heroic. I tried epic portrait. Some of these got really strange. So it was remixing a little bit too much. And that's where I turned down the stylization. I wanted it to do actually less to the image itself, but still was getting way different of an output. So let's scroll further down and see when I started trying other things. Well, I thought to myself, okay, rather than telling it a character, maybe that's why it's changing it too much. Maybe I talk about the lighting and it'll put Benza in a cool environment. The ones that it popped out, still not doing it. I tried some other photos and as you can see, you know, there's different styles, but none of this was very useful. Then I thought, okay, well maybe we take photos that we have of ourselves and we use our photo not edited in Midjourney, but we put ourselves in a really cool background. So I typed in a wide shot of a minimal, modern, colorful office with glowing technology. And it started popping out some cool stuff. I thought these were pretty cool. And this is kind of the process we were going through mentally of like, okay, let's go after this idea. Okay, this isn't gonna work. Let's go after this idea. This isn't gonna work. I even actually stepped away from Midjourney and I brought it into DALL-E 2 and I thought, maybe I can do in painting and actually paint on top of our outfit and do something. But I was having issues with that too as well. So I was actually gonna abandon this idea and I was like, well, maybe we'll just do more of a standard course image. So I continued to generate some cool backgrounds and I thought, okay, I'll save these. These are the high quality upscaled ones that I'll save for later. I thought this one was really cool, especially if, let's say, Ben is on this side, I'm on this side. The color scheme is already unique and it splits the photo in half. So that's kind of cool. And then I started with this, and this is kind of, I think, the biggest breakthrough. I went ahead and we shot a new photo of ourselves. And the other thing that I did notice about where we started off was this background is influencing a lot of how the actual image is. So I thought, maybe it's gonna be better to mask out and cut out the background, which is exactly what I did here, and then bring that in. So some of our outputs are getting a little bit better. It's not taking into account the background, it's just me and a solid color shirt. So if you are doing this as well too, I'd recommend not having a shirt with logos, not having a shirt with shapes, but these are a lot easier already for me to simply mask and put my unedited face on a great looking costume because the simplicity, and then actually here's where we start to get better, but because the simplicity of the input is so much more clean, it's doing a great job of maintaining the integrity of the base image because there's so much less complexity. So I was starting to get really happy and it actually reinvigorated, okay, I think this is actually possible. I think we can actually go forward with this idea. So I was getting different outputs, saving the ones where I liked the lighting and I liked the outfit of, the characters that it was developing. And once I got a few that I liked, I then uploaded a photo with Benza with a background that was cut out. But I noticed something interesting. Because it takes things so literally, we can look and see his pose here. He's got one arm forward, one arm down, and it didn't actually translate very well into the output images because it just didn't look as clean. So that's something else to keep in mind, that it's not gonna only take into account what you're wearing, the backgrounds, but it's gonna do a pretty good job of replicating the pose that you have in your photo. So here we're starting to get closer to the output we're wanting. We have more of the Marvel superhero style. I think this is actually the final output that I ended up going with. Let's go ahead and see. Just tons of reiteration, tons of different outputs, really just looking for the right amount of detail, the right lighting, the right coloring. I knew that because we were gonna be standing side by side, I wanted to have like contrasting colors of our outfit. So ideally a blue costume standing right next to me in a red costume. So I downloaded all of the best outputs from Midjourney for this specific pose. And because, like I mentioned before, the pose of Benza with one hand forward and one hand down, I could tell is not gonna give an output I liked. I actually, funnily enough, I uploaded a second photo of me with the thought that, okay, I'll have a different pose and this will be Benza's outfit and I'll actually put, or Benza's costume and posture, and then I'll put his face on it later in post-production. So that's this process. I'm pretty sure this is the output we used. It's great because it's red, which contrasts the other output that I want to use, which is blue. The positioning is nice. There's actually really nice heroic lighting. So I was just looking at a few stylistic factors and went through a lot of different outputs and figured, okay, well, let's put them in a cool backdrop. I was thinking of the Marvel style. So I think I even started outputting some hangers with spaceships in the background, which we didn't actually end up using because it was too complex for a course thumbnail. But what I want to do next is just quickly show you the actual photo edit that I did to create the final product. Perfect. So what I have is all my elements. So we have the main base images that we started with, all the different outfits that I liked that I thought were potential contenders for the final export, the logos that I wanted to overlay and have on the course thumbnail, and then the potential backgrounds that, like I mentioned, we actually didn't end up using. So let's hop over and see what this actually looked like to get this image, because clearly if we look at our outfits, these are not our faces. So we had to do a little bit of editing magic to get to this point. So let's go ahead and break this down quickly. And in After Effects, we can go ahead and see the different layers that we have going on here. So we have our logos that we added to the course image, and then we're gonna have our different layers of bringing together the different elements of taking our base image and basically photoshopping and editing that on top of our Midjourney outputs. So I did the same thing for Benza and myself. It took a little bit of fine tuning, a little bit of changing things around. But once you add all these elements together of having a nice background and replacing things that you don't want from the Midjourney photo, you can actually get a pretty cool final edit. And this is what the final version looked like. Pretty cool. I think it really conveys the original idea we had, which was for both of us to be looking directly into camera and wearing Marvel type heroic outfits that would look interesting for students. And this would not have been possible without the use of Midjourney. So I hope you gained some insights from this case study, and I will see you in the next lesson.